Hey guys, I just wanted to jump on here really quick and make a really quick video about something that I get quite a few questions about, and that is incubating your own chicken eggs. So this is really valuable information to just learn and to know in case you already have chickens and maybe your chickens are getting a little bit older, you'd like to grow your flock just for whatever reason. This is just being able to incubate and your own eggs is a great and very cost-effective way of keeping your flock rotating through those older chickens and always adding new babies to your flock without having to rely on the feed store all of the time or wherever you're going to buy or ordering whatever your own chickens. You are able to hatch out your own chickens at home, your own little chicks, your own ducklings, your own quail, whatever type of poultry you may have, or turkeys. So the incubator that I have back here, and I've actually done a review on it before, if you want to go back into my older videos, if I remember, I'll put a link here for it. It is the Nurture Right 360. It's from Tractor Supply. I bought this in 2020, I believe, and it holds 22 eggs. And let me see if I can take you over here so you can see a little bit closer. It has a couple of different things here. It's telling me on top, it is telling me what my temperature is and what the humidity is. And you control the humidity by adding water into like a little reservoir that is on the side, which is really handy. And then this here, you can see all the eggs. There's like dividers in between them. It has a motor that rolls the eggs and turns them a couple of times a day if you wish for it to. I will say that the one thing about this is, like, my duck eggs, and I'm sure turkey eggs would be way too large. The eggs are just too large in this. So even when it will roll, but the eggs themselves will not turn over because they're too big. So I still have to hand turn those over. The nice thing about this incubator is you just, the lid comes off like this. Comes off. And if I want to just roll my eggs over, I just reach in here, I roll them over, each one of them, and take them out and check on them, whatever. So it's really easy to use. Like I said, it holds 22 eggs. I have both duck and chicken eggs in here right now. Its automatic setting is set to 21 days for hatching chicken eggs into chicks. But then I think it is 28 days for ducks. Since I had just enough eggs to fill it up, I decided to go and put both in here. And what will happen is, once the chicks have hatched, I'll just remove them. The incubator will keep running, and then a week later, my duck eggs will also hatch. Okay, so that is the basics of this incubator setup. So I'm going to go through the basics just overall of incubating chicken eggs. The first thing that you need to know is that if you plan on incubating your own chicken eggs, is that you are going to need to have at least one rooster per every 12 to 15 hens. And the same with ducks. You're going to need to have a drake to be able to fertilize these eggs. If you do not have any males, none of your eggs are going to be fertile, and then it's going to be useless to try to incubate them because nothing's going to grow inside of those eggs. So for chicken eggs, like I said, it takes 21 days to hatch out. And for duck eggs, I believe it is 28 days. And like for this type of incubator, and most incubators, it's going to come with instructions that's going to tell you the specifics on humidity levels for the incubator, as well as temperature. This particular incubator, the temperature, it keeps it right around, let's see here, 99.5 or 98.5. Since once I remove the lid, it isn't showing up exactly, but I think it's 99.5 degrees. And for the specific one, you're in control of the humidity for chicken eggs. I believe it is around 55 to 60-ish is for the humidity levels. And then you bump up your humidity the last 3 days, and that allows those chicks, the shells, to them be able to break out of their shells easier those last 3 days. For ducks, the humidity level in your humidifier will need to be brought up some, because if you just think about the natural environment that ducks live in and the body type of a duck that would be sitting on the egg, she's going to hold in a lot more humidity. So just naturally, that humidifier is going to need the humidity inside of it's going to be a little bit higher. And so temperature is important, humidity is important, and turning of the eggs is extremely important. So in a natural setting, we'd have a broody hen. That means a hen who has went into a hormonal cycle where she is just obsessively ready to hatch out a clutch of her own eggs. So she will lay eggs, or she will just claim a nest box that already has eggs in it, and she will sit on them. And then once she's fully committed to them, she will like reach under her and she will turn. She moves all the eggs around several times a day, and what she's actually doing is she is turning them. And that is so the embryo inside of the egg doesn't just get like adhered to one side of the eggshell. So her turning it continually just is rotating everything inside the egg and making it possible for that little chick inside of it to thrive. So that's in a natural setting. That's what's happening with ducks, turkeys, quail, chickens. That's what they do naturally, is they turn their eggs underneath their belly several times a day. Once we go into an incubator setting, we are trying to mimic that natural process as much as possible. And so like this incubator, like I said, it turns them automatically. But if your incubator does not turn them automatically, it will be up to you to remember to 2 or 3 times a day to go in and to give your eggs like a quarter turn or a half turn, and like a quarter turn throughout the day a couple of times, so that they are turned over a couple, like a complete turn, at least a half turn every single day. Okay. So that is another really important part of hatching out your own eggs. And then once the chicks on let's say day 21, once those chicks are ready to hatch and they start hatching, there are some late bloomers in there sometimes, so they don't hatch out in the first 24 hours. Don't just toss those eggs. There could be a live chick in them. You can usually hold it up to your ear. You'll hear them pecking around inside of it and what we call peeping. You can actually hear them begin to cheep before they hatch, and so you can listen to that. And when I am putting my eggs in here at the beginning on the first few days, I usually wait till about 3 or 4. Today's actually day 5 for these. I'm going to show you how I can tell if the eggs inside here have actually been fertilized and we're actually going to have potential chicks and ducklings in these. There's a method called candling that you use, and this is shining a light into the egg shell, so you can see what's going on in there, and you'll be able to tell if these eggs are fertilized and they're growing something in them. Now I've already removed, since this is day 5, back on day 3, I candled all the eggs in here and I went through them. I took out the ones that did not show any signs of any fertilization. I took those out and I went ahead and replaced those with new eggs. So I now know that that there's going to be eggs in here that may potentially not hatch for at least 3 days after the first chicklings start to hatch. That's fine, because I have duck eggs in here that are going to be, this incubator is going to be running for a whole week longer anyway, so that's not a big deal. So I'm going to show you what I mean by candling an egg. I put these in here on day 1. You're not going to see any difference. You're going to turn them. You're going to make sure your humidity levels and everything are good. Day 2, same thing. Turn them. Keep your humidity levels and heat levels correct. By the end of day 3, something inside the egg should be starting to happen. So day 3 or day 4, that's a good time to go ahead and do your first candling. I'm going to show you how. Okay guys, so in order to tell in order to candle these, I need to be totally dark. It's actually nighttime here, so that's going to help. I'm going to turn out all my lights. So this is going to be dark, but there will be a light on, and I'm going to hold this up close so you can see inside the egg and see what is happening and what it should look like if your egg is fertilized, okay? Okay guys, so I have the light off, and then on top of my incubator there is a little light right here. It's going to be very bright. It's going to come on. As you can see, it is shining right here. And then I'm going to be setting the egg on top of it, and you can see inside of the egg. And if you can see here, this is day 5. You can see that there's all sorts of veins going through, and you can see that this egg There's things happening inside of it. Something is growing right here. You can tell that this egg is fertilized and we are well on our way to growing a baby duck. This is actually a duck egg. I wanted to show that to you first because they are white duck eggs. They are a lot easier to see inside of. Okay. All right, so when I take it off of it, you can see, you can't, you won't be able to see anything, but if you don't have this built into your incubator, you can also hold a turn a flashlight on and set the egg on top of it to see what's going on inside of it. Okay, so I have a brown egg here. Let's see what we can see inside of it. You can tell it's very speckledy looking. And let's see. This must be one that I have just put in here yesterday when I switched them out. So that one doesn't have anything happening yet. But, okay, here is another one. This one is a little speckledy. This is a white chicken egg, but because the shell is a little thicker, a little harder to see inside, but you can still very clearly see that this is a fertilized egg. You can see all the veins running through it. Okay guys, so one last thing that I want to share with you about incubating your eggs is that before you put them in the incubator, this is super important, you do not want to wash those eggs. So as you can see here with this egg, it's not perfectly clean. There's a few little spots on it, probably mostly mud because it's been very rainy out. But you do not want to wash those eggs. You don't want to wash the natural bloom off of your egg. The eggs that you're going to choose to go in your incubator, you do want to choose the ones that are as clean as possible. And then you're just going to want to, you might be able to wipe them off gently with a dry towel if you have any extra, just like mud or something on them, but you do not want to use any water to actually wash off those eggs because you're going to wash off that natural bloom, and that's going to not work out well for you. So you do want unwashed eggs in your incubator. So those are the basics of incubating your own eggs. And having your own incubator is a great way to just be a little more sustainable, and it's going to save you a lot of money in the long run, especially for duck eggs. When I have duck eggs in the springtime, it is important for me to make sure I get some of those in the incubator, because if I have to go buy any new ducklings, ducklings can be anywhere from $6 to $12 per duckling. And so if I incubate just one incubator of ducklings, I have more than paid for this incubator in that first time of incubating. And if you have a really hardy, like dual purpose bird, and you would like to be able to have your own meat birds, something that's like a really hardy, like an Orpington or something of that nature, you can incubate their eggs and you can have your own small flocks of meat birds that you're growing from home without constantly having to buy more from the store as well. So the best way of hatching out eggs is obviously going to be with a pretty hen, but especially like right now, it's only February, we don't really have any pretty hens right now. It's still a little too cold outside. They're just not in the mood to be hatching eggs. They will here in a few months, I'm sure, but for now we're just going to go ahead and get our we've got our eggs in the incubator so we can get started on those spring chicks. And if you don't have an incubator and you're on the fence about it, I would highly recommend you buy them. There are a couple of great brands out there. You can buy some that just incubate like 9 or 8, I don't know, 6, 9, something like that, or a dozen. You can get all different sizes and all different types. This is just the one I chose and I really liked it. I would recommend it because it is very easy, especially with it turning the eggs for you. Alright, I hope this video has helped you out. If you've ever wondered how do you incubate your own eggs, hope you guys have a good day. Bye.